Welcome all to the latest in our series of webinars. Hopefully what we do at Test House is try to give you a little bit of an insight and maybe exposure to some of the opportunities that are available to you to undertake your testing when maybe you've heard something about them and you'd just like a little more information or whatever. So we came across Domicilium earlier this year, and we think that jointly we have an offering which will be of interest to both our existing customers and perhaps some of the prospects out there who are thinking about taking up an option like this but would just appreciate a little more detail. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Test House, the company was formed in 2000. We're an IT risk mitigation company. We focus purely on performance, functionality and security testing. We do not write software and we do not get involved in any other kind of consultancy. We're headquartered in London with additional full-service centres in Spain, the UAE and India. We also have overseas sales operations in the US and the Middle East. In terms of our partnership with HP Software, both Domicilium and I are partners with HP. We've been partners for over 10 years, initially with Mercury Interactive and HP since 2006. We actually achieved gold partner status in 2009. When we set out in this sector, we called ourselves the independent experts in software testing. But after a while, we realized that somewhere in the region of 90% of our engagements where tools were involved were around the Mercury and then the HP toolset. So now we've changed our strapline to IT risk reduction through best practice. And we think what we're looking at now with Domicilium actually extends that best practice. HP, over the years, have continued the Mercury philosophy of investing in their tools, and we believe that that should ensure that they remain the market leader. We've all got different experience of full system testing. These are just a few that I've come across in my career. I've worked on the buy side of the fence, and after pleading with the IT department, they have arranged for us to have a copy of the live system over a weekend. But that means that the clock is ticking from the day you start your testing, and they want their system back as quickly as possible to restore. So that can work, but it is a little bit pressurized. The most sophisticated environment I've seen was where someone had totally replicated their live system, but in a scaled-down manner. And so consequently, they had basically a system that could hold and manage 20% of the data that they had on their live system. And that is probably as good as I've seen. In other projects, I've seen functions tested in isolation, I've seen applications tested in isolation, and I've seen interfaces tested in isolation. And I guess the other option is you cross your fingers after that, and hopefully it works. So historically, we haven't really had the opportunity to provide a 100% test environment in a cost-effective manner. And the reality is that the more complicated your environment, the more important it is, and the less likely it is that your software will be tested 100%. What I've always thought historically when I was involved in writing and developing software was I would like a second live environment that would be there that I could use and test it to death, and when I was satisfied that my new applications, my changes or whatever, were actually as they should be, I could then actually confidently then put those all into the live system. That's never happened. I'm not sure that it's happened anywhere. But I think that with our relationship with Domicilium, we are giving you the option to do exactly that. So, yeah, wishes can come true. Our partnership with Domicilium isn't that long-lived. We've only been talking to each other for a few months. But we believe that we are jointly addressing one of your biggest challenges, and we think that we can deliver the solution to those challenges in a cost-effective manner. So, as I said earlier, we're aiming at our respective existing customer bases and potential new prospects who recognise the value of what we're trying to do. Okay, at that point, I'm very happy to hand over to Jim. Jim can give you the full details of the Domicilium Cloud Platform, and I will be around to answer any questions you may have in respect to Test House at the end of the presentation. Jim, over to you.
Thanks very much, Peter. Nice introduction there. So, yeah, my name is Jim Idials. I'm the Business Development Manager within Domicilium. The first slide you see there is very simple, the Domicilium Cloud Platform, and it says virtual computing designed around your needs. I just want to say a couple of things on that. We have had a cloud platform since January 2010. So it's about 2.5 years we've had the cloud platform that we're running. It is being used by a number of clients very successfully. And when we say designed around your needs, we do have a motto within our company that one size does not fit all. And so we like to work with customers, really understand the business and the business requirements before agreeing, if you like, a business solution, technical solution and commercial solution that actually meets the client's requirements. And it's something we hold very dear. So if I move to the next slide, and just give you a little bit of background about our company. We were actually formed in 1991, July 91, so we're 21 years really this month. And we were one of the first internet service providers in Europe, actually the 26th. And of the first 30 ISPs that came into existence, only 3 survive today, and we are one of those. The company has done, I guess, a number of things in the early years. We used to have a software development part of the business, but we divested of that. And for the last 10 years, we've really just focused on the infrastructure side from an IT and network connectivity standpoint. And so the services that we have today include the cloud platform, which I've just said we've had for 2.5 years. Cloud-based testing, which is obviously fairly new, which we'll talk a little bit more in detail in a while. Hosting we've been doing for a while. We do managed services. Network connectivity is a core competency as well. We've been doing that for 16 years. And we regularly connect clients up and run their networks globally. So we have clients with offices in various countries and parts of the world who want it all connected and would like a personalised service around that and fast lead times, and that's something that we've got a lot of experience in. We do disaster recovery and backup. DDoS protection is another thing that we do and have been doing that before the off-the-shelf products actually came into existence. And that's actually very important when I talk about some of the applications that we're running on behalf of our clients. And we do domain name services as well. The company is based actually in the Isle of Man, and actually the domain name services .in is all run out of our centre in the Isle of Man. We have a 20,000 square foot data centre with room to double that capacity if need be. And it is an award-winning data centre. So about 3 years ago, we were voted the second best data centre in Europe, and against all the big names, if you like, the HPs and the IBMs of this world, which we're very proud of. And we are a Tier 3 plus data centre. We're not a Tier 4, as there's only one power provider on the Isle of Man. But we can run the data centre for 72 hours with oil-fueled generators until we need more fuel to come in to make us run more. But we think the power is likely to come on, and when it does come back on into the island, then we're going to be one of the first on because we're on the same grid as the hospital and the airport. I've been in IT for 25 years, and it, without doubt, the best data centre that I've seen. So anyone who visits the Isle of Man, we'd love to show you the facility we have there. Very importantly as well, I guess our first set of customers were in the financial services industry, and a lot of wealth management applications we were running for customers. And I guess a lot of the reasons for that was because of the financial advantages within the Isle of Man, the tax advantages, etc. But now financial services has been overtaken by e-gaming. 20% of our business now is e-gaming, like poker, roulette, casino-type games, betting in running, whether that's football or horse racing or whatever. We have customers around the globe who rely on our IT and network infrastructure for their sportsbook applications. So 20% of our business is now gaming, closely followed by financial services. So as a result of those applications, our infrastructure is incredibly fast. It's low latency, jitter-free. We have never had an outage, touch wood, and I've got some wood near me, which is good. And it's global. So challenging e-commerce applications is what we're about. We're effectively an IT engineering bunch of specialists, really. So today, where we stand today, we have customers in 35 countries who transact several $1 billion of business over our IT and network infrastructure, and that is every month. It doesn't say every month there, but we have that amount of business transacted over our infrastructure every month. So we take it very seriously, and our customers are delighted with the service that we provide. So let me move on to the next slide, where we can talk a little bit about testing. I'm not particularly an expert in testing, and I know a number of you on the call will be, but it's clear to me that years ago, when there was a failure or an application failure, it was pretty much confined in-house. The consumers of that company would often not know there had been a problem. Now, with the fact that we have the internet and web and e-commerce applications, etc., any failure is now very visible to the public and to that company's customers. And I guess the most recent example would be the NatWest Royal Bank of Scotland. I don't know if that was to do with testing or what, but certainly their reputation has been tarnished and damaged a little bit. And so testing is probably more important than it's ever been now. And in my view, the test manager has a lot on his plate anyway to make sure these applications go out when the business demands it, which is generally yesterday. And one thing I think is relatively simple to fix, actually, is to get the right test environment. And yet, very often, the test managers often spend a lot of time on the environment. So I've put together a set of questions which hopefully there'll be some nodding heads and yeses with you on the call to see whether you've experienced any of these. But if you think about it, have you ever struggled to secure the right software test environment where there is a mismatch to the target production environment? Have you suffered from slow in-house decision approval sign-off processes that cause delays in securing the right software test environment? Have you ever used a non-dedicated test environment and shared resources with development? Have you found that the ability to secure the right software test environment has resulted in severe project delays or project failures? And indeed, even considered how expensive it is in terms of testing tools